CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
You can expect your power bill to spike this spring. BC Hydro rates are jumping nearly 7% to help pay off the utilities' debt. The BC Utilities Commission has approved an interim increase that will see rates jump nearly 4% in April, but that's not it. A surcharge that Hydro adds to your bill for an account to pay off deferred expenses is expected to double. That charge will go from 2.5% to 5%. The NDP's energy critic says taxpayers are being left to foot the bill for years of hydro mismanagement.
Why we pay a rate rider on our bills is because BC Liberal energy policy has created a $2.2 billion hole at BC Hydro. The only way we can get out of that is to start paying for it. It's called a generational debt. If we don't start to address it now, it means future generations will have to pay even more. The Liberals said they could keep rates down. What they should do is stop interfering at BC Hydro, set policy, and let the people manage the corporation in the best interest of ratepayers.
The basic rate hike is down from what BC Hydro had originally requested, nearly 10%. Hydro's first request was rejected by the provincial government, and it ordered a review to maintain current rates.
Well, I made it pretty clear yesterday. I'm not particularly happy about it. We think we did pretty good work going through the last year. We did a review of Hydro to look where we could find savings, how we would change our procurement, how we would look at all the outgoing debt and costs that we had, and said if we found savings within the company, we felt that we could get the rate down. So we made a submission at a lower rate than what the Commission has given us.
The increase will work out to about $5 a month more on your hydro bill on top of what you are currently paying. Thieves in Arrington have gone to great lengths to try to steal copper wire from BC Hydro. Police say thieves used a chainsaw to cut down a hydro pole, leaving the wires dangling. The incident cut power to a nearby trailer park. Hydro was able to restore it quickly. Nobody was hurt, but the people who cut the pole could have been killed. Victoria Police say they will not proceed with a fraud investigation into the Wharfside Seafood Grill. Police say there is not sufficient evidence to go ahead. A former cook at the restaurant, Barra Kafori, had filed a fraud complaint with Vic PD last week. He had complained earlier to the Employment Standards Branch, claiming he had not been paid. His is one of several complaints about non-payment, some of which have been settled since. Victoria Police say the file does not meet the threshold for a criminal investigation, as there is no proof of intent on the part of the restaurant operator. Well, a Vancouver Island woman has hit the jackpot but was nowhere near Vegas. She has more than 3 million reasons to feel better tonight. Her name is Barbara Singer. She has $3.3 million in lotto winnings to her name thanks to hitting the jackpot on the Lotto 649 draw. Singer says she purchased the ticket on a run to the store for ginger ale. She forgot all about the ticket till she went to check it the next day on her lunch break. She bought the lucky ticket at Don's Market on Niagara Street and Menzies in James Bay. Well, the business of golf may be struggling right now, but a lot of business is done on a golf course, and now a Vancouver Island MP is driving a bill in the House of Commons hoping to end golfers' tax handicap. The MP for Esquimalt Juanafuca was speaking about his new bill to end tax discrimination against the golf industry and golfers at the Olympic View course today. It is Bill C-397, which would allow tax write-offs for golf-related business expenses, similar to those for restaurant expenses. Randall Garrison says he'd like to see golf on a level playing field with other industries.
Well, golf is not allowed as a tax-deductible business expense when you can go to a Canucks game, when you can drink all night in a bar, when you can go bowling, and deduct all of those as a business expense. You can't play golf. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Golf should be included. When people actually play golf, then they actually get exercise, right? Golf courses preserve green space in our communities. Golf courses host more than 25,000 charitable events during the year in the country. So there's lots of good reasons that golf should get the same treatment as others do under tax law.
Garrison introduced his private member's bill in the House of Commons yesterday. The 2012 Victoria cruise ship season promises to be another record breaker. The first of 229 ships of the season, the Crystal Serenity, will slip into the docks at Ogden Point April 17th. 229 ships this year. That's a new record number. Will bring more passengers than ever to the city, some 475,000. Last year, Victoria saw 206 ships. The final ship of this season weighs anchor on October 24th. An off-duty RCMP officer in Nanaimo helped to make a drunk driving arrest he will never forget while he was picking his child up from preschool. The officer and his wife had arrived at the Beban Park Rec Center just after 11 o'clock yesterday morning and noticed a woman slumped over the wheel of her van. The vehicle was running and in reverse and was parked precariously close to the preschool's door. On the other side of that door were dozens of children putting on their coats and shoes, preparing to walk outside right into the van's path.
Our member thought it was a medical distress situation, so he called for the ambulance to attend. He was banging on the windows, the door was locked. Fortunately, he got her attention, and then he quickly realized it wasn't a medical distress, but he suspected that she was impaired by alcohol. So our on-duty members attended, and she was investigated for that.
The Qualicum Beach woman was taken to the Nanaimo RCMP detachment to provide breath samples. Police now recommend charges. They say her arrest is even more shocking because it comes just 1 week after she was arrested in Qualicum Beach, also on suspicion of impaired driving. Police say the potential for harm in this case was extreme.
She was passed out, the vehicle was running, and her foot was on the brake. The backup lights were on, which is what alerted Corporal Muir to the fact that this was a precarious situation. Where her vehicle was facing, if she had slipped and her foot hit the gas, there's only a fence stopping the vehicle from running into the preschool.
The 48-year-old woman's name has not been released. She is scheduled to appear in court in May. Lanceville Elementary School is embarking on a fundraiser to build a memorial to 2 former students killed in a house fire. Devin and Jordan Drake died earlier this month in an overnight fire at a relative's home on the Nanoose First Nation. The boys' teachers and classmates at Seaview Elementary School are struggling to come to terms with the boys' deaths, and they've decided they would like to remember the boys by building a brand new playground in their honor so that the Drake brothers will always be part of Seaview Elementary.
You know, during the service, one of the things that was often talked about was how much they love school and love coming. And the teachers loved them in turn because of just that celebration of life they actually had. They were always smiley, always willing to help. And, you know, that's what's been the difficult part for a lot of people to come to terms with, because we did actually lose 2 young people that did make the world a better place.
The school has 4 playground designs to choose from, and it hopes eventually to build one at Seaview and one on the Nanoose First Nation where the boys lived. The fundraising goal is $50,000, and the school's PAC is leading the effort.
We have some parents that have come forward that want to do a gala dinner type thing with a silent auction with different musicians in Lanceville and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work and time and, you know, a lot of manpower from everybody in the school, and we're hoping that the community will support us 100% behind it.
In addition to hosting fundraising events, the PAC is appealing to local businesses for sponsorships. If you'd like to find out how you can get involved and help, you can email pac.seaview@gmail.com. An update now on a story we first brought you earlier this week on Vancouver Island Report about an Oyster River family who have now been reunited with their beloved pet thanks to your generosity. Sadie was badly injured a few weeks ago when she was hit by a car. Her family simply could not afford the thousands of dollars it would take to save her, so they turned her over to the rescue organization Victoria Adoptables. The group put up the first $5,000 for Sadie's surgery. The family's daughter has special needs, born with a neurological disorder called Angelman syndrome. Sadie helps her cope with many of the symptoms.
Sadie's been a huge part of relaxing her. She sits and she snuggles with her. I went in there one day and she had both fingers in her mouth and her, you know, kissing her. So Sadie puts up with a little bit from her, but it brings Jessie out a little bit more having Sadie around, and it calms her also at the same time. So she's right now she can't take her eyes off of her.
After we brought you the story of Sadie, the donations began to pour into Victoria Adoptables. Nearly half the money to cover the surgery has now been raised, so the group decided to return Sadie to her family, and they'll figure out now how to recoup the rest of the money later.
Words can't even express how exciting it is to have her back. We're just so glad and so thankful to everyone who's taken part in doing this for us, and all of our friends that are, you know, putting together fundraising to help to achieve this goal. And our goal is to continue to raise money for Victoria Adoptables, because, you know, we just, how do you say thanks?
Victoria Adoptables needs to raise about $2,500 more to break even on Sadie's vet bills. You can donate online at victoriaadoptables.com. Well, Pattison is partnering up with a Vancouver Island-based food chain, Quality Foods. The grocery store chain and BC businessman Jim Pattison already plan to expand and renovate the stores, including the Quality Foods outlet on Turner Road in Nanaimo. QF says it wants to build a second floor, which will sell home decor and housewares.